Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alona Taraka, and welcome back to WIJT video show on our YouTube channel. Well, folks, yesterday I received very, very wonderful news. I received a report in the form of an article that was sent to me through my feed, my Facebook feed, and I could not believe what I read. And I was so overjoyed. I cried almost the whole night because of the excitement and the joy that I felt and the connection between my research and what was happening in this article. I just couldn't believe it. And I was just so happy that today I would like to share with you some of this happiness. And we have a lot to go through here, folks. And this might take about 20-30 minutes to go through everything that I would like to read. And I hope that you learned something from today's presentation. And if you do, please let us know. All right? We would be very curious to know what you have learned today. So please keep that in mind. You can keep notes if you'd like. And it's just fascinating research that I have been doing. And to tell you when it all started with my growing up, as I was growing up, I was bullied in school, as I'm sure many of you have been bullied. And it kept inside of me for a long time. And as I grew older, I realized that I was not going to allow that to affect me in any way. And my self-esteem and self-confidence had grown. And the bullying eventually went away. So for my dissertation, my doctoral dissertation, I would like to read to you the summary of what my research has been. Currently, there is a growing phenomenon that is present within the perimeter of a school campus in anywhere USA, and this is called the school-to-prison pipeline. I am a student and researcher of Walden University, which is an online school, and I've had a wonderful journey with Walden for 8 years, and I'm at the finish line here with my dissertation, and so I would like to share it with you, the summary. And I was given this topic, the school-to-prison pipeline, from one of my professors. And when I learned about the school-to-prison pipeline, I never really gave it much thought as I was going through my student-teacher experience. And then I found the book by Michelle Alexander. I was introduced to that book, The New Jim Crow, and how it would be related to my research in the school-to-prison pipeline. So I put the two together, the two concepts, and I think I came up with a pretty good dissertation to share with our American school system, education system. And then as time went on, I'm thinking, you know what? We have to make this global, because this problem within America is not only happening here in our country, it's happening everywhere. Every country experiences the same discipline policy problems that we are experiencing here in America. So let me get to this, and I'm going to share so much with you. today, so we're going to spend some time here together. Currently, as I said before, I'm going to start again. Currently, there is a growing phenomenon that is present within the perimeter of a school campus in anywhere USA, and this is called the school-to-prison pipeline. The school-to-prison pipeline has been a mainstay within the American education system for decades. Only now are we starting to dismantle it per the American Bar Association. It is a phenomenon that is a feeder for the prison population and thus keeps criminals in business. Where do we start the dismantling? In our school system, preferably in the grade of kindergarten. Students can be so mean to each other in this grade, and it can only intensify as the students move up in their academic career, if their behavior is not controlled and managed within the classroom and school. So thus, the basic foundation for the school-to-prison pipeline is for educators and administrators to possess the knowledge of classroom management and how it may affect the social and emotional learning of any student within that classroom. The school-to-prison pipeline is my doctoral research topic, and to assist the current research by making suggestions on how we can change the statistics of students entering the school-to-prison pipeline within our lifetime. I'd also like to mention here that President Trump, while he is dismantling the Department of Education on the federal level, he is working from the top down to dismantle or to help dismantle the school-to-prison pipeline. It is happening naturally. And as the researchers and educators are working from the bottom up to dismantle the school-to-prison pipeline, we are meeting in the middle. So some of you may be able to see that, I don't know, and some of you maybe not. But you try to look at it from that perception, and you will see that the behavior of students in the school system is changing very slowly. My dissertation begins with the introduction of this phenomenon and how important it is towards the success of the American education system. The topic of my dissertation is about deterring students from the school-to-prison pipeline through learning the perceptions of education superintendents regarding restorative practices versus using zero-tolerance student discipline policies, and using a qualitative research methodology, I outline the steps that need to be taken to collect the evidence through the data collection process. And using the Braun and Clark 6 phases thematic analysis process, I conducted a data analysis of the raw data that became known by interviewing 13 superintendents from across the United States of America to learn their perceptions about student discipline policies and how by using their power can start changing the lives of students by deterring them away from the school-to-prison pipeline. Some of the findings included that restorative practices in schools is the better way to deter students. Zero-tolerance policies do not work anymore. Can we also blame technology for this? Sure, why not? Students' rights have also strengthened over time, and parents and educators and administrators haven't really established a strong, effective communication strategy, and the success of the school environment based on the policy feedback theory can be still undermanaged towards the dismantling of the school-to-prison pipeline. Before too much time goes by, it is better to start this process through the many different restorative practices programs that have been published, namely Peace Corners and Peace Rooms, as examples. There are so many. There are hundreds of these restorative practice programs, folks, all over the world. And hopefully, when we apply these programs, like others, eventually the crime statistics will change within our schools and their surrounding communities. That would be great. As a result of this dissertation that I have researched and put together, I have come up with my own program, which is coming from a new nonprofit called Operation Apple. And the Operation Apple's mission is to do fundraising for school districts and school systems. And what we want to do is provide some of the funding that is needed to implement restorative practice programs. And also to create a peace room in your middle school or high school. UN24 is the name of this global initiative. It is called the Operation Apple Global Peace Program in Education. This strategy of student discipline reform is a response from the mission of the American Bar Association to dismantle the school-to-prison pipeline. It offers a school system an alternative strategy to discipline students within the American education system, which is further broken down into how different states use student discipline policies to ensure a student understands the consequences of their infraction according to their state, local discipline policy legislation. At Operation Apple, a nonprofit, aims to educate state and local school systems about the differences of using zero-tolerance discipline consequences, such as detention, suspension, and expulsion, versus using restorative practice discipline consequences. Every country is different, every state is different, every local government is different. Operation Apple also works on a global level and communicates with other countries to further advocate using restorative practice discipline policies in their school systems as well. During this past year, we've had some countries that have come out and have been able to share with the rest of the world some of the experiences that they are having with student discipline. We had an incident that happened in Austria, and recently we have had some reports come from Australia. So Australia, as we know it, is in need of a discipline strategy that works for their students. So we are going to be working with them, hopefully, with this strategy. At Operation Apple, we offer a guide to implement our restorative practice program that encompasses the entire school system towards gaining support from its outside community as well. The mission of Operation Apple is to raise funding for your school system to implement restorative practice programs, such as UN24. Now here at Operation Apple, which is a global organization, currently I am the executive director and also the global education czar. And there are several of these peace room or peace packages that are available, and UN24 has their own. So if you are interested in purchasing the peace room package from Operation Apple, the fee is $100, of which the school system needs to complete an application. And this is what it looks like here. All right. So it's in this green package. And inside you're going to find is posters in here. There's books on. We have art therapy that you can do in these peace rooms and also in elementary classrooms. There's also these little posters that go up that help these children or students identify their emotions or their feelings while they're in school. Perhaps they had negative experiences before or after the school day, and they need to talk about those experiences, and they're able to learn how to identify their emotions and learn about themselves at the same time, which is very important. And there's books in here of different activities that you can do and lesson plans that Operation Apple will be available to you at all times. So if you need to review any lesson plans, or if you have any ideas you'd like to share with us, that would be great. And then, of course, we have our, talking stick, which is with stuffed animals here. Okay? It's supposed to, I don't know. Here we go. And everything that you need to start a peace room with is included in this package. UN24 is a unique student discipline program that focuses on implementing peace corners and peace rooms throughout a school system. Peace corners are used in kindergarten to 5th grade or 6th grade classrooms, where there is a designated corner in the classroom for students to go if they need an emotional mental break from the lesson to do a silent 10 to 15 minute activity that will help the student to refocus and come back a little bit more ready to learn. A peace room is usually found in a middle or high school. It is a designated classroom that occurs, in the life of the student. It depends upon the consequence that the school system creates or writes down or has to pass the legislation through the Board of Education. So that's how it occurs in the life of the student. And it's also ongoing. So it could be for a 1 to 2 week curriculum that may happen in these peace rooms, which is very important because it's going to teach the student life skills that otherwise they would not learn in other courses or in other classrooms throughout the school. And this means that they're going to be receiving a restorative practice process in these peace rooms as a consequence to the infraction. And we are not going to be using the zero tolerance discipline policy anymore. Or some schools are like that. They choose not to use the zero tolerance student discipline policies. But there are also school systems out there that will rely on that consequence forever. So it depends upon the local government and how they would like to implement a restorative practice program versus a zero tolerance student discipline policy. Now, yesterday, as I said, I was overjoyed by this report that has come out of the World Health Organization, the WHO, and it is estimated that 1.2 billion children are subject to the harmful practice of corporal punishment every year, and it is affecting their physical and mental well-being. It is a short article I would like to read to you that tells you a little bit about this global report, and it is a very, very, very moving, as I must say. So I will try to get through this, and hopefully, again, you will learn something from this article. It is not too long. And then there is one more thing I would like to share with you as we begin our new school year. Now, the World Health Organization has declared corporal punishment a global public health concern that causes serious harm to children's physical and mental well-being and can lead to criminal behavior. A new report found that across 49 low and middle income countries, children exposed to corporal punishment, defined as any punishment in which physical force is used and intended to cause some degree of pain or discomfort, however light, were 24% less likely to be developmentally on track than children who were not. Globally, an estimated 1.2 billion children are subjected to corporal punishment each year. In the past month, 17% of all children exposed to corporal punishment suffered severe forms such as being hit in the head, face, or ears, or hit hard and repeatedly, said the report. There is now overwhelming scientific evidence that corporal punishment carries multiple risks to the health of children, said Edine Krug, director of the WHO Development for Health Determinants, Promotion and Prevention. It offers no benefits to the behavior, development, or well-being of children, and no benefit to parents or societies either. Corporal punishment is a global public health concern. It's time to end this harmful practice to ensure that children thrive at home and at school. Children exposed to corporal punishment are more likely to have anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and emotional instability, which continue into adulthood and can lead to alcohol and drug use, violent behavior, and suicide. Among children aged 2 to 14 years, parent and caregiver self-reported rates of corporal punishment in the past month ranged from 30% in Kazakhstan and 32% in the Ukraine, to 63% in Serbia, 64% in Sierra Leone, and 77% in Togo. In Africa and Central America, 70% of children experience school corporal punishment in their lifetime, according to the report. Lower rates were found in the Western Pacific region, with lifetime prevalence about 25%. Across all regions, corporal punishment was reported to be common at primary and high school levels. Corporal punishment is often accompanied by psychological punishment, which involves behavior that belittles, humiliates, scares, or ridicules a child. The common acceptance of corporal punishment has been embedded in law, religion, and cultural traditions in many societies. Brianna Marinas, 23, an advocate and researcher from the Philippines and a member of the first global youth movement to end violence against children, said, "Corporal punishment is the most common form of violence against children, yet it is barely talked about. Coming from the Philippines, I know how deeply normalized it is. But what is normalized is not always what is right." Marinas has made a film featuring the voices of survivors of violence and to raise awareness of the impact it has. Today, 68 states out of 193 have full prohibition of corporal punishment. The first country to ban it was Sweden in 1979. In the UK, it is banned in Scotland and Wales, but is still allowed in home settings in England and Northern Ireland. So this was our new report that just came out from the WHO, the World Health Organization, and I believe everyone should take this report very seriously, especially as we go into our new school year that is happening all over the planet. And as a result, or as a response to the UN24 and what is going to be happening with the corporal punishment, I have created a step-by-step process, and I will be also available as a consultant for UN24 and the Operation Apple Global Peace Program in education. So when your school district or your school system or your state or your county or your town, when it is ready, I am ready to work with you. We here at Operation Apple, we are ready to work with you. And we would like to start with some new school districts starting next month in September. That would be wonderful. And I'd like to just give you a little summary or synopsis here of the step-by-step program that will happen. So for a consulting fee from September to June, we charge $5,000. Number one, a letter of introduction will go out. Either I will contact the school system or they contact us. We go into your school system and we make an initial assessment of your student discipline policies and the statistics that you have in September. Then it must be voted on by your Board of Education that you would like to initiate this or implement a restorative practice into your school system. So once the assessment of the school district has been approved and it has been conducted, we make recommendations for positive social change. And if there are no restorative practice programs that are being utilized in your school district now, what we're going to do is we're going to sit down with you. We're going to have this big discussion on how we can implement these restorative practice programs into your schools. And again, once that decision is made, which program to utilize, that must also go for a second vote with the Board of Education. Now, the best that I can do is to help with new legislation that may need to be passed either on the state level or the local level. And when you're ready to choose a program, after all of this has been conducted, then we can implement the program into your school district. And I would budget for a new peace room to open up, and the teacher salaries that need to be funding available for, I would budget about $200,000 per peace room. Now, Operation Apple is part of this fundraising. So what we are going to do is we are going to try to help you with this amount of money or funding that you need for this peace room. That is our responsibility, to help you with this funding. So we were going to be doing our best to raise the funds and to help you with this amount of funding that you need in order to implement a peace room program. Now, once this peace room has been created, I am going to stay with you, or we here at Operation Apple, we stay with you until the end of the year, and we are collecting statistics based on the students that are utilizing this peace room and how they are being deterred from the school to prison pipeline. And that's all we're looking for, really, is a change in the statistics. If the students are being changed, if their behavior is being changed, or they are learning more about negativity within themselves and within others, we are, we're going to be very happy, all right, that they are coming away with this new awareness about themselves and these new skills that they are going to learn as a part of a curriculum in the peace room. And this is very serious, folks, because if the peace room personnel and the principal decide that during the school year a student may need extra help and their behavior is not improving, then we need to meet with the parents. And that is going to be another educational experience. So that's what is going to happen. Also, district personnel need to decide how often an assessment you would like to have done in your school district. Would it be once a month or every other month until the end of the school year? And this is to guide the students into the right direction and to ensure that no negative influences are being exposed to them in the school or home environments. Also, we would like to ask permission from the parents to work with us and also a social worker to maintain the positive influences in the student's life after graduation. They may either go into the military, or they choose to go to college or a trade school, or they go to work full-time. Which skills are they using that they learned in the peace room? And are the skills helping them? And how are they helping them? We need to collect all of these statistics, folks, in order for us to come away from the year that we spent together to realize if and the program of a peace room is working in your school system. All right? We need to have that research done and that knowledge. And Operation Apple will refund $500 to the district for every student that enters prison. And this expires up to 5 years after graduation. And then we send a final report to the school district. So this is how we are going to conduct our consultation and advocacy and the Peace Room Package program into your school system. Anywhere in the world, we can do this. So I'd just like to come away from this presentation, and I would just like to say thank you very, very much for your time today. I hope that you learned a few things, and when you are ready to begin the process of either adding restorative practice program into your school district or to include it as part of the program with zero tolerance discipline policies, that's up to you. So let us know, please, and we are here to help you. All right? We want to change those statistics, folks. That's what our goal is with the funding that we provide. So, thank you again for your time today, and have a wonderful new school year ahead, and let's all stay safe and healthy. Bye.